Fitness friends, let's go over a little technique, tips, and tricks for some elbow rotations. Great movement to prep you for front squats. I do these every single time before I do any sort of front squat. What we're aiming to do is work on our mobility and increase our range of motion to mimic the front rack position. We're just gonna isolate and do one arm at a time to really learn how to control, feel the muscles, feel the range of motion you need to properly hold a front squat. Now, what we gotta focus on here, we wanna connect both shoulders to the barbell. From here, fingertips on the bar, not your palms. If you put your palms on the bar, look how far I can rotate if I have my palm on the bar. It just doesn't go nearly as far as if I put it into my fingertips, right? So don't hold the bar, just get in your fingers. From here, I'm gonna take one elbow and try to point it at the wall in front of me, but I'm making sure as I do this, I'm keeping my opposite shoulder in connection with the bar. Because a way that makes this, it's something that makes this a lot easier that people don't mean to do, is as they start to rotate this arm forward, their entire torso twists. And oh man, I can get really high when I do that. So make sure, is your elbow pointing forward because you're actually working on the range of motion that we want to, or are you just twisting out of position and it becomes easier? Reminder, the body always finds a way to make something easier for you if you're not ready for it or if it's a challenge for you. So be aware. That's the first part of getting good at working out, is being aware of the position your body's in. And then next, just really think about the tempo and control. A lot of people rush their freaking workouts, man, and and if you're one of these guys, you're wasting your damn time. Set up, pair it with your breath, exhale the breath, hold it for a few seconds, and release. Up, hold it for a few seconds, and release. You take your time with your movements, I promise you're gonna get better at it. Fitness friends, let's go over a little technique, tips, and tricks for front squats. I'm hitting 2 variations this cycle here at Full Circle Fitness. We're doing full range of motion and like half reps as well. Gonna look a little something like this. In our programming this cycle, we're hitting 4 reps where we come all the way down and stand back up. And then you're gonna hit 4 reps where you go about halfway-ish down, not even hips level with the knees. I'm just about here to here. Purpose of that, my friends, a few things. It teaches you awareness, right? There's so many people I've trained in the past where they think they're doing a full range squat. They fully believe they're right here and tell them over and over deeper, and they don't realize it until they actually see it. So it's more like awareness. I need people to become aware of the actual depth they're hitting. So that's why we're doing 2 different depths. Do you actually notice that you're getting fully down here compared to stopping yourself before you even get halfway? So awareness, number 1, and also strength, right? You can really challenge yourself strength-wise with this kind of lifting pattern. The goal here is find a weight that by the time you're doing that 4th rep, it's a fight. It's a struggle. And maybe if you went for 5 reps, you might not do it. You might not be able to get back up. But what you still have the strength for is lowering yourself about halfway and standing back up. So it allows us to just fatigue the muscles out a little bit more, get exposure to that heavier weight, and get stronger. Fitness friends, let's break down a little technique, tips, and tricks for med ball leg extensions. Great way to mimic a leg extension machine that you see at every Globo gym is use a box and a medicine ball. Let's go over what that looks like to start. Sometimes the setup is a little hard, but you want to get that ball in between and on top of the feet. It needs to rest on top, because if you solely squeeze it from the sides, good luck maintaining that. So it needs to be under, that your feet need to be under the ball, but we also need to be squeezing. 2 for here. 2 birds, 1 stone. If we're squeezing, we're actually hitting our adductors as well. Gonna keep these engaged. And then we just, see, there's a little too much in between. We're just gonna lift up and release. Lift up and release. Now, let's go over positioning here. A few things really make a big difference to make sure this is gonna be successful. And first, we gotta look at your knees in the box, or I guess where you're sitting, essentially. We gotta be seated far back. We can't be on the edge and have the legs far out from the box. We want to be scooted in to where essentially touching. Next, we want to go over our torso. We need to be leaning backwards. Pretty much the farther you can lean backwards, the better you're going to target your quads. It just puts the quads in a position where they're going to get hit a lot better compared to if you're sitting upright. This is not going to do a whole lot for you. We need to be leaning back, fire up, important, hold, slowly control back down. Fire, hold, slowly control back down. And what I try to do when I get to the bottom, spend as little time there as possible. I fire back up with power, little hold, and have that control. Hitting about 15, 20 reps. I promise you'll find a great burn. Fitness friends, go over a little technique, tips, and tricks for a chest-supported row. First thing I want to go over is how to get in a good position here. I notice a lot of people awkwardly lay down here. Lay your hips down first, and then lay your chest down. What I see people do all the time, it's funny. They'll awkwardly put their chest down and leave their ass up like this, and then they just really can't find a good spot, and it feels really awkward. If it feels awkward, just know you're doing it wrong. Lay the hips down, then lay that chest down. Now the row itself looks like this. Smooth and controlled. Dumbbell angle. I like to teach, hold those dumbbells at about a 45-degree angle. Not perfectly straight, not out so, hold it about 45. Next, what I like to go over is activation in your lats and your back. We want to make sure the first thing that doesn't happen, the elbow's bending. Most exercises where you're pulling something towards your body, most people do them wrong. They use way too much biceps, they aggravate their elbows because they're activating at the elbow joint, and that's the first thing that moves, and it puts a lot of tension on that area. We need to make sure we can activate our lats and our scapular region. You're going to notice that the dumbbells are going to move here, but my elbows aren't bending, right? That's because I have control over my lats, my scapular, and I'm engaging the big muscles in my back, and I'm not just yanking with my arms. So that's our focus. We make sure we're not yanking with the arms. We squeeze the lats, activate the back, and fire your reps. Smooth and controlled, aim out slightly and backwards. Fitness friends, let's break down a little technique, tips, and tricks for a bench-supported pigeon stretch. Great way to work on your mobility here and work on your external rotation is to use a bench to assist you with pigeon pose. Typically, most people have seen this performed on the floor, but if you don't have very good external rotation in your hips, it's probably not a very comfortable position for you, and there's a good chance you're wasting your time being there just because you're not doing it right. This will allow anyone to find a position they need to be in to actually have it be beneficial. Foot rests on the bottom of the bench, and then we let the hip externally rotate until it becomes in contact with the bench here. From here, I like to sit up and tall, nice and straight, and then we're gonna play with our range of motion here. I'm gonna sit straight down with my back leg, sitting down into the rep, hold it for a few seconds, and then drive up. Sit down and drive up. Now when I drive up, I'm not just standing with my back leg, I'm really focusing on driving this knee down and into the bench. What this is doing, not only are you working on improving your external rotation in the hips, but I'm strengthening that range of motion as well. If I'm able to drive out, you're gonna feel this glute activate, turn on more to help lift you out of that position. If you can get stronger in your end range of motion, you're gonna improve your end range of motion as well. Now bench, once again, is a great tool to help everybody because you might come here and then you might find you get here and it's just uncomfortable, painful, you can't really get down to the bench all the way. Easy fix. The higher you make this angle, the easier it's going to be for you to get into that position. And you just need to find the level that you're ready for. But you can see, exact same thing I did earlier, just a little easier if you're not quite ready for the harder version.